Hey everyone, welcome to Infinite Binge. We are watching Westworld Season 2, Episode 3 this week. I am Jake, and who else is here?
Kevin?
And Andrew.
This episode was titled, and I apologize if I butcher this, Virtu e Fortuna?
Virtu e Fortuna. I think is Virtue and Fortune.
In this episode, Dolores makes her next move, Charlotte scrambles to protect Delos' most prized asset, and Bernard gets closer to the truth.
Yeah, the title is a reference to two concepts in Machiavelli's work, The Prince, from the Renaissance.
Right.
So, discusses concepts of like free will, which is, obviously something that's really discussed a lot.
Oh, yeah. But the episode opened, I thought, very interestingly, because it opened in a new park.
But not the one I think anyone was expecting.
No, definitely
Agreed.
not.
Yeah, I was not expecting that.
We got to see the origin of that tiger, though.
When we discussed it, I think we were talking about like where in the world, like geographically, a Bengal tiger would be from.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, it's kind of like a South Asia thing.
Yeah. I did think to myself when I was watching it because, Anthony Hopkins is English, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
I had the thought of, living out his English fantasies.
Of taking over the rest of the world.
Yeah, pretty much, because, that was their thing.
Well, I mean, even if you look at that sort of, I don't want to call, I guess you would call it a hotel, but you can see like it looks like the sort of the British India flag that's flying above it.
Yeah, exactly. So now the one thing I was curious, or I had thought of it, is because it shows the hosts are still there. Obviously this is, I guess, at the same time things are happening.
Yeah, because the robots and robot animals rebel at the same time.
So I guess that he had just uploaded for every park to have them all rebel at the same time.
I guess, yeah, he said send to all.
So that was the one part maybe I had missed in an earlier episode or even in this one or something. That I was like, oh, I get, because it doesn't appear that there had been, there's been any crossover yet at, when that had taken place.
Right. Did you guys like Seven Nation Army cover?
I missed it.
I heard it and I thought, that sounds familiar. And then I just kind of never really came back to it.
It was playing during that entire intro scene in the new park. I liked it a lot.
So oh, sorry. I was just saying, I'm guessing that woman is going to be important, though.
She's having a bad day.
Man, for a moment there, I was wondering if the guy she was with was going to have a bad day.
He did.
He did.
Well, I mean, before that, I thought he was.
I thought he was going to be a robot?
I thought the worst part of his day would be getting shot with essentially a rubber bullet or something.
Well,
yeah.
And actually, that had another thought in my mind. When she shot him with the gun, he wasn't hurt. But then, like, I guess later that day, the robots could then kill them with the same weaponry.
They disabled the safety measures on the weapons, I think.
Okay.
I don't know what kind of gun they have. There's a setting, like a software setting, that turns the bullets to lethal.
Yeah, it's just, exactly. And so, because it was just in my mind, I was trying to connect that with when exactly it was happening, because since they're on this island, it's a large island, but it's still, an island. I would think that, and maybe this was a day later, but if these, they had them all rebel at the same time, that this should have been taking place at night, or that, during the day, this would already have been happening. You know what I mean?
That's true. I didn't even think of that, because the rebellion all have started happening at night.
Yeah. So, was there a delay? That, like I said, that was just kind of the one part, and it's probably nothing. It's just maybe
Is
a
it
little
a
bit of an
Truman
oversight
Show
or something.
situation?
But yeah, I don't know.
Where they're in
Well,
like a big
no,
dome?
because when she floated over, it was still like the same time of day. Like you could see
Yeah.
over to the other side, where Westworld was.
Yeah, you bring up a good point.
So that, like I said, it's a minor thing, but in my mind, I was just thinking, I was trying to connect when, exactly this was and trying to figure that out.
Well, not all of the robots turned homicidal. Maybe the ones they were around at that night didn't try to kill him, and then they got to the crazy ones later.
I guess, I don't know.
Because like there's Lawrence out there, and he's not trying to kill the Man in Black.
Well, and so with the Man in Black now, because he's traveling along with him and such, is because he's in the garb and all that, is he like just part of it now? Like, are they just going to automatically try and kill him, or because they see him dressed in that way, they're going to leave him be unless, he starts something?
Yeah, I don't know, because he went into that saloon and
Yeah.
they didn't bother him.
Exactly.
Maybe it has to do with whether or not they, at least in Westworld, whether or not they've come into contact with like Maeve or
Dolores? Yeah, maybe.
Because Maeve and Dolores definitely have some sort of extra power over the other hosts.
Definitely Dolores.
Well, Maeve was just able to force people to do whatever she wanted because she could use the computer.
Yeah.
Dolores is just like, I'm going to kill you, bring you back, and then you're going to understand, and you're going to listen to me.
Well, I think maybe they sort of abstracted it a little bit, but like, especially even like at the end of, like near the end of last season, they would do something where she would say, like Maeve would, like when she went into town with Eschaton and his crew, she was like, the sheriff observed them to be fine individuals, upstanding individuals, and tipped his hat and then walked away. And she kind of just says it, and she doesn't really interact with like the pad at all to do that.
I do wonder too, with Maeve and all of them, because they kind of have this point where it's still kind of tough to tell exactly who is kind of like which. Obviously, Dolores, and Maeve are like completely self-aware, basically. Same with Bernard. But they show kind of the others somewhat becoming aware, fairly self-aware, like Hector, right? Hector Eschaton.
Mm-hmm.
But so that was another thing that got me, where I was trying to figure out, well, because they're walking through the hallway. And he starts talking about, the British guy's like, you two can't be in love. And, he starts saying something, and then the British guy still finishes his sentence, word for word. So I'm kind of curious, how much of Maeve and Dolores is still just like these pre-programmed things inside of them.
I think Dolores is more of her own person than Maeve is.
I would agree with that.
But at the same time, I think, if you think about it like this, how often do you start to, like in the middle of a conversation, will you use some sort of idiom or some sort of quote or reference something? Like especially like Shakespeare. I find that, sometimes people will sort of.
But this is a little bit more than that, because this is like a little speech, he wrote.
Right, but I'm saying when people do that in their memory, though.
Yeah, true.
But when people do that, they are like knowingly like quoting something.
Well, that's true. Yeah, no, that's.
And like the robot didn't know.
And actually, sticking with that same scene, how did the blonde, whatever her name is, how did she get a robot hand so quick?
It's a good question.
Well, I
think it was because of the two tech pozos from the first season.
Yeah.
They gave her a hand, literally.
I love how much that guy still hates everything that's going on.
Oh, yeah.
He's the only one. That's how I would be acting.
I'd totally be the British guy. like the head of narrative.
Do you
It's
mean
it's,
like when he's handed the bottle and chugs?
Please don't kill me. Please, I'll
Yeah.
help you any way that I can. Like I have no illusions of the fact. I would like to say no, man. I'd be a man in black out there kicking ass, but no, I'd be the please don't kill me.
I don't think I would have made it past the party.
You would have died in there.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Are you sure you wouldn't be a robot?
Maybe.
There needs to be one of those sites where you take a bunch of dumb questions and then it tells you if you're a robot or not.
It shows you a picture.
Yep.
If your answer is it doesn't look like anything to me, then
So how do you guys? Because it kind of, while watching it, I'm kind of not feeling it as much as the first season. Maybe because it's now, but with them doing this time jump of 2 weeks back and forth.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? Because I just kind of want them to only show show it chronologically.
I'm fine with it because I think so far, whenever it's doing the time jump, it's all up with Bernard, and he's clearly having those memory issues where he can't tell like what time is the present.
Yes.
That Dolores was having last season. I'm fine with it.
I'm fine with it for now. If it makes it into season 3, I might be tired of it by then. But yeah, I'm really enjoying the stuff with him and Dolores, though.
Yeah, I liked when he asked Dolores, like, "What do you want? What are you doing?" And she said she wants to dominate the world.
Yeah, and what does he say? Something about like their world is massive or whatever, and she's like, "You haven't even been there, have you?"
It seems pretty clear that Dolores is the villain.
yeah, I kind of definitely feel that way now. Hashtag Team Maeve.
In that small, tiny group, sneak around back to steal Abernathy, but
Well, I guess her thinking was that they had the superior weaponry because they all had like those P90s.
Yeah, and I get that, but it's like, sure, but you're walking through an open field with shooting at people behind a cover.
That's true. They should have used grenades and stuff.
Yeah, like I don't know. It just didn't make sense. I was watching
the drones.
Like, they're training. Everybody's training in this show must have been non-existent. Because they're all terrible.
I agree. Why are they using people anyway?
Well, at this point, I mean, you can't really rely on the robots.
No, send in a drone.
Yeah, send in robots. This has done us really well so far.
Or like get a tank.
Like a remote control car.
Oh, that kind of drone.
Yes.
Yeah, that actually, fair point. Fair point.
I mean, we have that technology now.
Yeah, I can only imagine how far along that would be.
Yeah, but in that scene, that Dolores also just sacrificed everybody.
Well,
what does she care though?
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't even quite call it sacrificing.
Just murdered?
Yeah, because sacrificing, usually the intent is, person or people X die for, this outcome or something. But it's just like, she just didn't want them as part of her new world. So I'm going to leave you to die and kill you.
Well, we know that most of the robots died. You think her plan is just for, like, her to leave?
I really don't know. And obviously we see where... I'd say, too, because the end of that first episode, we were like, was that Teddy in the water? The end of this one made me think, yep, definitely Teddy in the water.
Yeah, because he betrayed Dolores.
He's not down with all that.
I mean, he's dead for now. They could easily bring him back.
Oh, I mean, technically, they can bring almost any of them back.
Yeah. I liked at the end of the episode with the British guy freaking out when he realizes where he's at.
Well, was it he realized where he was at, or was it he realized what had entered where they were at?
Yeah, that could be.
Because said, he's like, oh, we're in this region. And then he was like, sees this thing like, what's that? And then finds a head, as you do.
Yeah, and then a samurai attacked. I'm really looking forward to the next episode. I want to see where that goes.
And I'm quite curious how that's all going to play into it. And I'm really curious too, because we've now know what 3 parks consist of, and they said there were like 7 of them, right?
I think so.
6 or 7, something like that.
So then, what the hell else do they have?
Jurassic Park.
I already said that.
No. It's not. It wouldn't be Park. It'd be World. So it's Jurassic World.
I'd like to see a Crusades
medieval,
or
maybe?
something. Yeah,
And Future. They have one that's just the future.
that one is actually people playing robots.
Did you like the stuff with Dolores' dad?
Eh.
I didn't get her attachment to him because she knows that he isn't really her father. It's like she's so self-aware and everything. Like she's like Neo in the Matrix. She sees the code and yet she's still falling for it.
Maybe it was that she remembers that he was like her father for the longest.
Yeah, I was going to say
Like
that'd be
rest
my
of them.
guess. He just occupied that space for the longest period of time.
It's kind of interesting though that they're still, even though they're kind of self-aware of everything, that they're still seemingly dominated by emotion.
Yeah. A lot
like
of
they
them
have-
are still dominated by like their old like storylines still.
And that's what I was saying before. I wonder how much of it is still just completely that. But now it's just they don't have these restrictions put on, so they can react in certain ways that weren't allowed before. So it makes it seem as though they may have these, free thoughts and stuff, but it's actually just, because the story isn't really there anymore telling them to do or say these specific things. Because they have that improvisation part of them, Oh, I did get quite a laugh of Trevor from GTA becoming a good guy.
Oh yeah, I like that too.
The kindest, most virtuous gun in the West.
Yeah. And just all the stuff he was saying, it was hilarious. I was laughing pretty good at that. And he's like, "No, let me escort you back." And he's like chasing the woman down.
Yeah. That guy's a pretty good actor. I've liked him in things I've seen him in. Or heard in things of GTA. Was there anything else you guys wanted to bring up before I wrap up?
I think that's it.
All right. Well, thanks for listening. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave some comments, do all that stuff. Also, listen to Manga Machinations and The Geek Box and Comic Conspiracy. And thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.